and welcome to an interview with somebody who has actually been at the forefront of this revolution that you are seeing in Indian athletics. 24 medals at the Asian Athletics Championships, and it doesn't surprise me anymore. Whether it is the Asian Games, whether it is the national games where you're seeing records broken, whether it is at the Asian level, India has now firmly established itself at the Asian level. Whether it is going to be global, we will discuss it with Adille Sumariwalla. But the foundation has indeed been laid, and that is the big contribution of this man and the federation. Adille Sumariwalla, Vice President of World Athletics and former President of the Athletics Federation of India, Indian Athletics at this point in time, joining me. Adille, you were there in Korea. Again, fantastic effort. 24 medals, coming second. Your first thoughts?
No, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for your kind introduction. No, I think our athletes have done well. The way I had looked at these championships is like a stepping stone towards 2028 and the Asian Games and the Commonwealth Games to come up next year. This is also a stepping stone for the big boys, also for the big boys like the Sables and the Gulveers, who are in contention, who can make the finals of the the World Championships to be held in Tokyo later this year. But I was strictly looking at these championships as a stepping stone. That they have done well. They've got 24 medals. I thought they could get about 28 to 30. We had lots of fourth places. Missed by a whisker. But it's fine. I think it was there to test the athletes. Can you go out there and fight with at least the best in Asia if you have to fight the best in the world? So these are little stepping stones, and one needs to look at it from that angle.
Interesting. And if I see the Tokyo World Championship, also the number of people who have qualified gives me hope. It is no longer about the one Neeraj Chopra, but you are seeing many qualify because that's step one. The more things you put on the line, eventually that will result in medals.
I look at it in two separate ways. One is lots of people are qualifying. So they are in the top 30 or top 20 or whatever in the world. But to me, my sort of bar is that if 56 people have to qualify in the 100 meters, you must be at the 50-meter mark or above. If 30 athletes have to qualify in long jump, then you should be 15 or above. And I think it's time that we now see, like in the old days, athletes went, I've got an Olympic crest on my chest, and that was it. Today, the mindset is different. The mindset is very clear that I want to go out there and fight. Now and they're still not as convinced about a medal, though Neeraj has set the path and he's shown them that I'm the same flesh and blood and I can get you medals. But today, I want athletes to start saying, boss, I have a fighting chance to get a medal. And I think that is the next step from. So you need lots of people to qualify because you need bench strength. Only if you have bench strength. See, why in javelin we are doing well is because we have the bench strength. Last World Championships, 3 athletes in the top 6. Today, Sachin was less than a meter away from Nadeem at the Asian Championships. And Sachin is absolutely raw. Sachin has got a very long way to go to improve his speed, his technique, his throwing, everything. The second guy is also thrown 80 plus. So it's not that. So we are slowly building that 10,000 meters Gulveer. The next guy is 4th. It was the last sprint in which he got out sprinted. 4x4, 4x4, without our best team, it was surprising to actually win the women's 4x4 because we had one leg which was very, very slow. Now, so unless you have that bench strength, first is bench strength, as you mentioned, more and more people qualify. But the second is then being in the top half of the bench strength. That is my next aim, is to ensure that, and we may even actually in a year or two set a rule saying that we don't accept world ranking qualify. A lot of countries do that. They say that only if you're in the top 15 or the top 10, we will let you participate in the Olympic Games or World Championships. And my thoughts are moving in that direction. So,
Wow.
so if you want to be a killer and a winner, then that's where you need to be.
I was speaking to James Hillier, and he said to me that this is the best phase of a relationship between private foundations and the federation. He was glowing about the federation, and he said, "Look, I'm a Reliance Foundation person, but I'm here as the federation coach. I've been given this opportunity, and I'm wearing it with a lot of pride." And he then went on to say that, "Look, it is no longer about Amlan. There is Animesh, there is Monikanto, there is
Correct.
Gurinder, all of them. Whether it is 38.69, no longer acceptable. I want them to run sub 38. That's when they have a
Correct.
chance." So clearly, there
Correct.
is a sprint revolution also underway. You were a sprinter yourself. Tell me about it.
So for a long time, we had a problem that we had sprinters, not of this level. Definitely, we didn't have sprinters of this physique, 6-foot sprinters. But having said that, they refused to come and train together. One of the reasons being that they were running away from camps because of dope control. And that was a very serious issue. And though we had great sprinters in between, but they never came together to train as a team. 2.5 is the ratio of baton exchange. Now, if you want to cut down from 38 only baton exchange, because we know what a sprint power is, we don't have 10-second and below 10-second sprinter. They will be there one someday. It's not too far, but they will. But till that happens, it is only the baton exchange. And that will only happen when the team sleeps, trains, eats, practices together. And that is why we keep saying that if you want to be in the Indian team for the relays, you have to be in one place and train together. Even if
Excellent.
you are a 9-second sprinter, if you're outside the camp, we are not going to take you. We're not going to take you. For example, you saw that Vidya got a bronze medal in the 400 meters hurdles. She was the second fastest. She didn't run the 4x4 relay because she was not training with the campers. And we still got a gold. There are athletes who are outside. Kiran has just joined the camp. And what we are saying is, you join the camp, you bring your coach and join the camp. We have no problem. We will fund your coach also. So Kiran has come with her coach. We have no problem with that. But you need to be together and train together. When baton exchange happens, you have to be there.
And what is also doing is also inculcating discipline, that look, you are not going to be in a silo. You are part of a setup. The federation is doing everything to help and allow, and you've got to be part of this. Is excellent to hear. Adil, there was a controversy, and I had a chat with you. I also had a chat with Pooja, by the way, and I asked her straight up, what was the story? She said very categorically that, no, sir, I did have another pair of spikes. I also was told by people that everybody wanted to help and get me more new ones if I needed, but I don't want a new one because I was trusting my old one. She put the controversy to rest. Do you have to say anything? Because this created quite a flutter.
So there was no story and there was no controversy. It was the way it was reported. Okay. And I did have a chat with the people who reported it also. I said the way, yes. Did her spikes tear in when she was training there? Yes, it did. Did she have another pair of spikes? Yes, she did. Did she want her other pair? No. She felt that speed-wise, the old pair she was more comfortable with. Did we go out into the market to look for it? Yes, of course we did. We tried, but these are high jump. These are not regular spikes. These are high jump spikes with nails in the heel, which you don't get in every place or in every size. So these have to be normally pre-ordered. Now, did we try everything? Yes. Even if she got a new pair, would she have used it? No, because you have to break into your spikes. So there was no story to start with. To start with, there was no story. So it's just that if people want to grab eyeballs, it's fine with me. It's okay. I don't have a problem.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
mean,
the story.
I asked the athlete the question, and I must say this: I asked the athlete the question because, as journalists, it was important to go to the bottom of it, and I've reported it point blank, saying we would
You
see
should,
stones.
but we've never see. We are all human. We all
Yeah,
make
if there is
mistakes.
an error, we will accept the error. What's the big
Yeah,
deal?
we will accept it. If we made a mistake, we are happy to accept it. There is no problem. So, but and again, we do a lot of things for the athletes. 5-10% may go wrong. Report it. We are not saying no. Please report it. But also report the 80-90% good that we are doing. No, you can't only report the 5% bad. Report 5% of the good also. I'm not saying you report 95% of the good, but you report 5% of the good. No, that is what I'm trying to tell people, that see, media can make or break a sport. And why would, if people keep hearing negative things, why will they send their children into sport?
Correct. No, the other thing, Adil, it stood out, even us, right? We are ultimately a platform, we are governed by market. But we reported athletics extensively even during the middle of the IPL. You saw that. And
Yeah,
that for me is a big plus now.
it
That
is.
for me is a big plus for Indian sport. And that's tremendous to see. So, last few questions. This
Sure.
whole sub 10, Adil, you think it's possible now in the next few years
Possible.
with so much of
It is
talent?
possible. It is possible. Not only this talent, I can see more talent coming up. I can see more talent coming up. For the first time, I'm seeing 6-foot sprinters, which is very heartening.
And
And
the stride will be much bigger.
it will be a much bigger plus. See, Kunjur himself, according to me, if his start improves, he can be touching close to 10 seconds. His first 30-40 meters is ridiculously slow. If he gets out of that block faster, he can his he can come close to 10 seconds even today. So that's my reading of his race. And I've spoken to his coach, I've spoken to him, I've spoken to everybody on this issue.
Fantastic. Asian Games will be another big one, Adil. Last time, 29 medals. You athletics and shooting saved India. I mean, the 100 was saw par and all of that was basically because of two sports. 50 medals came from these two particular sports. 29, I think 22. Big, and then this country moves from multidiscipline to multidiscipline. So the penultimate question, and the last one will obviously be Neeraj and javelin. 1 year left. Commonwealth and Asian Games. Your thoughts?
Again, the aim is 28. We are no more looking at Asian and Commonwealth. Commonwealth is good for the middle and long distance runners because that's where the African countries come in, and that's a good testing ground. That's a good testing ground. Sprints, it's Australia, UK, Canada, etc. that come in. The big boys of Canada come in there. Again, that's a good testing ground. So in different events, it's good testing ground. Um, I think I think we will continue to build up to 28 because my vision is no more Asian. My vision is now moved to world levels, Olympic Games, World Championships. You have to work towards that. That's 28.
So
And
are you telling me that in 28 there could be a second realistic medal prospect?
I'm not saying anything. Wait and
No,
watch.
serious.
Wait
Because
and watch. Wait and watch. Wait and
but
watch.
but but are you cautiously optimistic about it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say no more.
Last one. Sachin Yadav came very close. You mentioned it. I mean, he almost did did beat Arshad. So the javelin crop and Neeraj Chopra coming back, doing the 90, and Leslie, all of that. Your thoughts on that? That is going to be a blockbuster, whether it's Commonwealth, whether it's Asian, whether it's whatever.
Javelin is a very dicey event because wind conditions. Suddenly you get a puff of wind when you're throwing the javelin move. Suddenly you get a puff in the opposite direction. The javelin drops. You can have within one event, one meet, 2 to 3 to 4 meters, just simple difference in your throwing. You could throw 85 and you can throw 90. So it's a very dicey event. You just need to be. See, why is Neeraj so consistent? Neeraj is so consistent because he has perfected the technique. In the release technique, the speed at which you come in and the release technique is the most important thing. Now, if you saw Arshad threw 75 meters in the first throw, Neeraj would never do that. Neeraj will have a absolutely consistent throwing within that range. That's because he has mastered his technique, especially with coach, what is his name? His biomechanics coach. He managed to perfect his technique, and that
So you were saying with Klaus, the previous
Klaus
coach.
with
Yeah,
Klaus, he managed to, because he was a biomechanics expert.
correct.
He managed to perfect that. And that is why he is the most consistent thrower in the world for the last 5 years, at least. The important thing in javelin is to be consistent. And you will always get a, like, for example, that German kid, I can't remember his name, threw 90 meters last year.
Yeah, and then just disappeared again. Yeah,
No,
correct.
he threw in Doha. He threw some 75 meters in Doha.
25, 80. Yeah.
He threw again at the Olympic Games. He threw some 75 meters, 80 meters. So you could get that one freak throw. You got a great wind. The wind lifted the javelin. The javelin went. By fluke, you got correct technique on that particular throw. But look at Neeraj's consistency, and that is why he's the greatest thrower in the world today.
The last question I was actually worried about, and you and I had a chat multiple times about his injuries and groin and
He has no injury.
operation and all of that. But
No
thankfully,
injury.
he's managed that.
He
Thankfully,
managed
he's
that
managed
well.
that.
He has no injury at the moment.
So
And
are you saying that Neeraj Chopra in the next 3 years, if he's injury free, he can last out for sure? We can start dreaming through his eyes again.
yeah, of course. He still has a long way to go. So, and now after throwing 90, I'm sure that that block in his head is gone. So that 90 block is over. And therefore now he's free. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody, not even to himself. He done that 90. So of course, I mean, he's still good for LA.
I'll finish there, but the best part about this interview is it's no longer about the Asian Games. It's not the Asian Championship, not the Commonwealth, but the goal now is the Worlds and the Olympic Games. That's my takeaway, Adille Sumariwalla. You did not answer my question whether we will kind of really bank on a second medal at the Olympic Games, but I will keep bugging you for
I,
that for the
I,
next.
I, I no, I said, I smiled. I told, I mean, I think I said,
No, you did not give me the event, where to watch, who to
no,
watch. You
no,
didn't.
that I will never give you. And I won't even give you one day before the Olympic Games. You know that. I will never give you, I've never done that. I've never talked about medals. See, I strongly believe in the preparation. If your preparation is great, medal will happen. If your preparation is perfect, medal will happen. So what I'm focusing is the preparation. The medal will be just a byproduct of the preparation. That's the way I think.
No, it was. I've got to say this. I've spoken to many. Indian athletics is one of the best run federations. You deserve a lot of credit for what we are seeing. And
Thank you.
there's no question whether it is the 5%. See, in my case, I will talk black and white, straight. You do good work, we'll report that, we've done that. If there is a question, I'll come to you and say, look, I'm hearing this, you clarify. This
There
is a
is no
controversy.
problem with that,
Is it
as far
good?
as I'm concerned.
That's how it is. You are a friend of mine, but that doesn't preempt
No,
me from asking the
no,
straight
no,
question.
I'm saying you ask all the tough questions. I have no problem
That's our
answering
job, right?
that.
That's our job, and
I have
we'll
no
continue.
problem answering that. But don't only ask the 5% questions, no?
No, of course not.
Also
Of course
ask the
not.
95% questions, or ask 5% of the 95% questions.
Yeah, I get that.
That's
I
all I'm
get
saying.
Yeah,
That's
and
all
it's a
I'm
fair
saying.
ask. It's a very fair ask. It's a very fair ask. I'll end there, Adille Sumariwalla. Pleasure talking to you, celebrating the effort. But as you said, keep your feet on the ground. It was a stepping stone. So let's not jump the gun and say we are already there. It's all blocks being built for the future. Thanks a lot for
Absolutely.
joining me.
Thank you. Thanks, Maria.